in the Oval Office about to reopen officially the government. Let's check in.
Well, thank you very much. This is a big day tonight. Very important what has taken place because we've seen how good government can be and how bad government can be. People don't know what they're doing. For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally, from gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our healthcare businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort, the Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment, I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along, many days ago. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. It's just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation, and we'll talk later. Yet the extremists in the other party insisted on creating the longest government shutdown in American history, and they did it purely for political reasons. I want to thank Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, as well as House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Majority Whip Tom Emmer, and numerous other great Republican leaders and congressmen and senators who are here and frankly spent a long time in Washington getting this thing to go away. I also want to thank the broad coalition of Americans that stood with us in this fight to reopen government, including the Teamsters, the American Federation of Government Employees, the Fraternal Order of Police, AMVETS, the National Small Business Association, the American Farm Bureau, the American Trucking Association. These are all incredible patriots. The Airlines for America, the Allied Pilots Association, the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, and many, many others, unions and non-unions. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy.
Can y'all imagine? They actually caused over 20,000 flights to be delayed. Trillions of dollars in economic activity, and that is money that is supposed to be circulating around in the United States of America. Because every dollar that is not spent is jobs, income, businesses, taxes. Our economy, our entire economy, any economy depends on the dollar circulating. If the dollar, listen, what people don't understand is that we need people to be broke. We need people to vacation. We need people to be broke. We need people to finance. We need people to believe in the system. We need people to take trips. We need people to go out and buy clothes, support businesses. We need people to take flights, get hotels. We need people to go out to eat. We need people to go and see movies. We need people in order for the money to, and this is what's so wrong with socialism, right? Because socialism puts the circulation of the dollar in the hands of the federal government instead of having it as a free enterprise. So you naturally moving money around, investing it, taking it out, going, getting a mortgage, buying a house, getting contractors. That is how a community thrives. That's why when a lot of times a company will say, hey, listen, we're thinking about opening up this big business over in your area in Memphis, Detroit, Chicago, Los Angeles, wherever, right? And New York, anywhere. anywhere in the United States of America, and they say, hey, we're thinking about opening up this business over here, and we need some help. Or we thinking about building this skyscraper or this business or whatever, and we need some help. And the taxpayers will say, and they do it with teams, NBA teams, NFL teams. Chicago recently just lost the Bears, and the Bears are going to be in the suburbs. And the reason why taxpayer money is funded or credits is giving to businesses that invest in the city is because it generates much more economic activity that the city then benefits from in the form of taxpayer dollars, businesses being open, construction crews working and spending, living, working, playing all in the same area. City planners are necessary. When you think about 20,000 flights getting canceled, do you realize how hurt the airlines, how hurt the travel industry is? And the Democrats literally are holding that money and holding people and holding resources because it's less about getting paid. It's less about whether or not you was working and you're going to get your check later. That's not the key. I'll give you an example. One of the reasons why Portland is so dead, another liberal city, one of the reasons why New York is going to fail, one of the reasons why everybody is leaving, everybody left, a whole bunch of businesses left California. Now California is operating at a budget deficit. Portland is suffering from the fact that a lot of people don't go outside anymore. They're not incentivized. What people also don't understand, and I'm gonna really break this down for y'all because I want y'all to learn something. In addition to the entertainment, I want y'all to learn something. Do you know why Detroit is the city of the future? A lot of people don't understand it, but it's the city of the future. It's ours to lose. Is because over the last 20 plus years, we've had exceptional business people working with politicians, despite the fact that we're a liberal city, and great city planning. We have moved all economic activity inside of the city. The Pistons used to be in Auburn Hills. Now they're playing at Little Caesars Arena. The Lions used to be at the Pontiac Silverdome. Now they're playing directly across from Comerica Park, which was built right after they got rid of the old Comerica Park. And the Pistons and the Red Wings and all four teams all play within a 1 mile radius, all of them. The business leaders, the Hudson's building, right? I recently had an opportunity to talk with some people in the business community that's a part of that, right? And JP Morgan moving into that building, the General Motors moving into that building, the park spaces, the DeQuinder cut, all going through the neighborhood. All of it is strategic. And the reason why so much economic activity, despite the fact that New York is going to have a $4 billion budget deficit, Chicago got a $1.6 billion deficit, Los Angeles got a $1.5 billion budget deficit. All of these, almost every single liberal city in the United States of America, every single major liberal city, Houston got a budget deficit. All of them got a budget deficit except for Detroit. It's because the business leaders are working effectively in tandem with the politicians to then generate more revenue by making sure that they plan effectively for more money to circulate within our local economy. And that is why it is going to continue to explode and grow in value. I'm telling you, this is why I told y'all to invest in it 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, because the numbers tell the story. When business people look at a play, they don't look at what culture and social media is saying. They look at the numbers. They look at city planning. We're operating at a budget surplus. We're growing in population. We're getting efficient and hiring more police officers. It's a reason for that because more money is circulating every single year inside of the city, which is generating more revenue. So when the Democrats then shut down the federal government and they say, well, listen, we're going to hold the government hostage and we're basically not going to circulate money, while at the same time saying that our cause and our purpose, because they had to pick one in order to do it, our cause and our purpose is healthcare for all, Obamacare, continuing to permanently extend Obamacare. They kill and destroy the United States of America. Everything that we've seen Democrats do Because the ignorant people will say, well, Democrats are fighting for the poor people and all of this stuff. What they doing is basically killing your ability to be able to stand on your own and do for yourself. Everything that Democrats do tie you more to the federal government. Everything that Republicans do let you operate on your own free enterprise and say, hey, listen, we're going to give you more money in your pocket to do what you want to do. That's the fundamental difference in Democrats versus Republicans. Democrats want you to be more dependent on the government. Republicans want you to be more dependent on yourself and do what you want to do with your own money. Democrats believe, and socialists believe in controlling money, controlling healthcare, controlling the population, controlling the circulation of dollars, controlling housing, controlling rentals, giving more and more and more red tape for you to be able to open up your business. Republicans say, hey, listen, keep more of your own money, less property taxes, smaller government. You do what you want to do with your own money, but you live and you die and you fail and you succeed on your own merit. That's the difference. That literally is the difference between Democrats and Republicans, which is why you see Trump scolding Democrats right now.
Extension, but they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. They deprived more than 1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid, and the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately, including the serious harm that they did to our economy and to people and to families. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this when we come up to midterms and other things. Don't forget what they've done to our country. I also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again. If we had the filibuster terminated, this would never happen again. And don't forget, we have another date coming up in the not too distant future. We can never let this happen again. And we should be able to pass great, really great legislation. So I say terminate the filibuster because, by the way, the Democrats will do it immediately if they ever assumed office, which hopefully they won't. Today, we had the highest stock market price ever in all of the different markets. We set a record. It's the 48th time in the 9 months that I've been in office that we had this record set. So think of that, 48 times we had a record set, but today is the highest of them all. We're going to break new grounds. Nobody would have thought. I have with us not only the great political leaders, but the great business leaders of our country. They're standing right behind me and right really alongside of me. And if we would have told them a year ago that we'd be having stock prices this high, none of them, in fact, I just asked them that question, none of them would have believed it. And that inures to jobs and, very importantly, to 401ks, which have also set a record today, a record high for the people that have 401ks. And also, I want to thank Walmart because they came up with a fantastic study. It was the cost of Thanksgiving coming up and the cost of Thanksgiving from a year ago under Sleepy Joe Biden, and we're 25% lower this year than we were a year ago. And it's a very inclusive report. So I want to thank Walmart. They've done it for many years, but we believe in that, and we believe in that company. I want to also thank the 8 Senate Democrats who finally did the right thing in voting to end this craziness, this madness. But unfortunately, the vast majority of congressional Democrats were happy for millions of Americans to suffer. They really did suffer too. And
so we down 1% today, yeah, but he did this yesterday. All right. So this actually came out 14 hours ago. All right. This came out 14 hours ago. This is not in real time. We're reviewing what he said 14 hours ago.
Democrats admitted, they said, well, no, we finally have a point. Even though people have to suffer, we finally have a point. And that didn't work out too well for them. But they really went out and they could appease the fringe benefits of their far left base. But that didn't work out because now their far left base is angrier than ever before. We actually elected a mayor of New York City who happens to be a communist. When was that going to happen? Remember, I said all the time during my campaign, we will never be a socialist country. And that's right. We turned out to have a communist in New York City. And if you look at his views, those are the views of a communist, not a socialist. So this is no way to run a country. I hope we can all agree that the government should never be shut down again. End the filibuster, terminate the filibuster. It'll never happen again. So with my signature, the federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans. Again, costs are way down. Energy is way down. Gasoline is at $2.50 a gallon versus $4.70 for the Democrats. And we think we're going to hit pretty close to $2 a gallon. That's like a really massive tax cut. It's the equivalent of that. And
depending on what state you're in, because different states got different taxes on gas, depending on what state you're in.
Speaking of tax cuts, our great, big, beautiful bill is giving everybody in our economy, middle income workers, low income, everybody, the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. And it's no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and very importantly, no tax on overtime. You work overtime, there's no tax. That's among the things that add up to the biggest tax cut in history. And one other thing, you hear about rich people with deductions. Well, when you buy your car and you borrow money, you're allowed to now deduct the interest on that loan. So you can take that interest deduction, and what you can take is that interest payment and deduct it for income tax purposes. That's a tremendous tax cut right there. But it all includes fixing the healthcare system that Democrats broke with the.
Y'all said, where's the tax refund? Y'all haven't even gotten the tax season yet. What? Are y'all good?